too much anymore. I am really proud to be here to work with a person who's going to be a great governor of this state, a person who's going to be a great lieutenant governor, Gretchen and Garland. They're going to be absolutely wonderful. And I also want to make sure that you understand, Jocelyn Benson running for Secretary of State, this is important. This is really important. Somebody to make sure that these elections are conducted in appropriate ways, that people aren't putting their finger on the scale. You have to look up and down the ballot, as Gretchen said. You know, make sure that you're voting up and down the ballot to make sure that she has a team so that she'll be able to do the kinds of things that you want her to do. This is, from my perspective, the most consequential, the most important midterm election that I've ever seen. Now, everybody always says, you know, it's an important election. This one really is. This one really is. We have to make sure that we send Debbie Stabenow back to the United States Senate. We need to make sure that we put in place a check that doesn't exist right now in Washington, D.C. on that president and his administration. I think the most corrupt administration in the history of this country. We have we also have to change things here in Michigan. This is a great state. The government of this state needs to be as good as the people are. And you do not have that right now. If you go issue by issue, let's talk about Gretchen and her poem. Let's talk about health care. Now, who do you think is going to protect the advances that we made under the Affordable Care Act? Gretchen or her opponent? This guy, what's his handle? Shooting not on duty. Shooting not on duty. That's his Twitter.
No duty shooting.
We got all kinds of different answers for this guy. All right, so who's going to protect the Obamacare advances? Gretchen. When it comes to education, I understand that he wanted to take $500 million out of the budget. Really? I mean, what person who wants to run and lead a state would run on the fact that I'm taking $500 million away from the kids of this state? What's that all about? He's not, you know, some people, you talk about schools, he's not worthy of a promotion. All right? He's not worthy of a promotion on the basis of what he wants to do to our kids. And then, all right, let's talk about this. I guess I can say the word, right? Fix the damn roads. I mean, this is... Michigan, home to Detroit, home to the Motor City. The automobile industry of the world is here in Michigan. You gotta have good roads. Fix the damn roads. And I also understand that Mr. Schuette he's not too big when it comes to clean water either. Apparently got notices at 15 occasions that there was a problem in Flint that he simply ignored or didn't do anything about. Really? People are telling you that we got problems with the water 15 times and you do absolutely nothing. Is that the basis for a promotion? No. I don't think so. I don't think so. And now we come down to Proposition 2. All right? The Proposal 2. You know, the Republicans in 2011, as they did around the country, really did a whole bunch of gerrymandering. They put in place a system where politicians were picking their voters as opposed to citizens choosing who their representatives were going to be. And with Republicans, with the power that they had from the 2010 midterm, they used that power inappropriately. And they ended up gerrymandering here. Now, I understand that you have in your lower house, what? In 2014, 2016, Democrats got more votes, right? Over 2 cycles. And it's now, what, 63-47? Now, 63-47, after Democrats win in successive elections. How is that possible? Well, it's only possible because of what they did in 2011 with regard to gerrymandering. They decided, you know what? We can't win on the issues. You know, we don't have the support of the people. So what we're going to end up doing is drawing districts in such a way that we pack Democrats into certain places, or we crack them and spread them out in other areas. We're going to maximize. We're going to cheat. You know, people ask, well, what is gerrymandering? You know, you have to explain. Well, let's go bottom line. Gerrymandering is cheating, and that's what they did in 2011. They simply cheated. And so, what you all have the ability to do by passing Proposal 2 is to take power away from those Republicans and give it back to the people. And let's just have a fair fight. You know, I'm not here, as head of the National Democratic Redistricting Committee, I don't say that I'm here to gerrymander for Democrats. All I want to do is make this a fair system. Let's make this a battle. Let's make this a battle between Republican ideas, conservative ideas, Democratic ideas, and progressive ideas. And guess what? Democrats and progressives will do just fine. We'll do just fine. I don't need to have an advantage. I don't need to have anybody put their thumb on the scale. Just make it fair. Just make it fair. And then I wonder, so he said he was against it last night. Like, what's the basis for that? You know, what's the argument that underlies that negative opinion of Proposal 2? I mean, it's like, I want to cheat. I'm afraid of fairness. I'm afraid of the people who I say I want to represent. I can't win a fair fight. I mean, I'd like to know, like, to sit down with them, you know, no on-duty shooting. I mean, I'd like to ask them, like, what's your basis for saying that you are against it? And, you know, this is consistent. They're going to cheat on that, and he'll do other things as well. I mean, I can predict this. You know, if by let's just imagine a terrible future where somehow, some way, things didn't work out. If he's the governor, you can bet all the things that he has said, he's saying right now, are going to be totally different than when he is governor and he's going to just do the Republican line. You know, like I said at the beginning, with regard to the Affordable Care Act, he'll say some kind of things now he's kind of for, you know, like which are totally inconsistent with the things that he said before. They just happen to be on tape, that happen to be in newspapers, but he'll go the Republican line. In pre-existing conditions, things like that, no, forget that. They'll figure out a way in which they can, you know, they can get at that and make health care something that people have to think about in ways that they have not had to think about since the passage of the Affordable Care Act. But the thing is this, we have to get people out to the polls. You know, we have to get people out. We're only 12 days away. November 6th is here before you know it. I know that you might be a little tired at this point. You might be a little fatigued with this campaign. You might be, you know, even a little dispirited. You know, that happens every now and again. But the stakes are too high. Yes, right. The stakes are too high. You gotta be fired up and ready to go. And as we said before, you think about how you felt the day after that election in 2016. Think about how you woke up that morning and how bleak everything looked. And guess what? It turned out to be even worse than we thought the day after. We cannot have a situation where we get up on November the 7th and we have that same feeling. Especially if we don't say, if we're not able to say, I did everything I possibly could do. I did everything I possibly could do. You've got to be in that position. So that means making phone calls. That means knocking on doors. That means convincing people to get to the polls. That means convincing, you know, 10 people, 50 people, 20 people. Make sure that they vote. And I have to say this. You know, when I think about people who don't vote, I get bothered by that. I get bothered by that a great deal. Because I think about those civil rights workers in Mississippi in 1963. Cheney, Shorter, and Goodman. And people know about their names. They know about the fact that they died in Mississippi. But people tend to forget that they lost their lives because they were simply trying to register people to vote. Register people to vote. John Lewis got his skull cracked on the Edmund Pettus Bridge to try to get people the ability to vote. The Selma to Montgomery March was all about getting people the right to vote. People who don't vote dishonor those people. Those people who sacrificed, who suffered, who gave their lives. We owe them a debt. And that debt can only be repaid by voting. If we don't vote, we don't repay that debt. If we don't vote, we dishonor that great work. If you say you're a fan of Martin Luther King, if you say you're a fan of John Lewis, if you say you're a fan of the Civil Rights Movement, you need to get your butt out there and vote. There you go. And I don't know what the weather's going to be like. I don't know what the lines are going to look like. I don't know what kind of things they're going to try to do. But guess what? We've got numbers. We have a history. We have a legacy that we have to protect. There is a future that we have to make. And so whatever they throw at you, I don't care if it's snowing, if it's raining, if they come up with some Republican tricks, please get out there and vote. He's got the special interest. They got the special interest on this side. They got the Koch brothers. They got all kinds of money. But guess what? We've got the people. We have the people. And if you want to know the difference between Republicans and Democrats, we are the party that stands for the notion that we want as many people to vote as is possible. You know what they want to do? They want to select the people who actually vote. They want, well, there's a lot of people here, I think, they probably don't want to have vote. You know? There's a whole bunch of folks here, just on the, let's look at your skin color, they don't want you to vote. You know? Anybody who they think is a potential Democrat, they want to somehow keep you away. They'll come up with these claims of voter fraud and the need for photo IDs and all of these things. It's really just an attempt to make sure that they're getting the people they want to vote. And that's why this proposal is so important. But beyond that, that's why it's so important that you not let them put any obstacles in your way. So, the stakes are high.
Very.
The solution is in your hands. And I want to come back here in January, but I'm sure it's going to be really, really cold, and see these great women raising their right hands and being sworn in as the next governor,